Well, Sean, it's been our reality for all of 2020, and there are many folks watching who are doing the same, working from home. It is a new frontier for sure. And perhaps you are working from home, but what if you are actually also rather being challenged with managing employees? Well, we have a business expert joining us now to give us some few tips on how to do that more smoothly.
Absolutely. It's a little bit interesting trying to manage from home. Robert Patin is the author of The Agency Blueprint, the business system that leads to success. He's also the founder of Patin and Associates. It's great having you, my friend. How are you?
Thank you. I'm doing very well. Thank you for having me.
It's great to have you. We're in a really, I was just saying to JJ, I was like, I want to go home. Wait, I am home. Home is work. Work is home. It's unescapable.
Ah.
When it comes to being a manager in a work from home world, how do you manage your employees? Do you do it the same way you do it in the office? How?
In short, I would say yes, right? The physicality of your team members really shouldn't make a difference. One of the key things that I think that's really important is that you should trust your team members. And if you don't trust them, they really shouldn't be employees and team members in the first place.
Yeah.
And what I see managers and business owners doing right now is they're trying to micromanage their team, and it's making additional constraints and additional pressures that are not really needed. And if you embrace the current circumstances, you can actually expand your talent pool, going even global and getting better talent.
Yeah, lack of trust.
I tell you, Robert, I think you just said what so many people are thinking. Sean and I are fortunate to not be micromanaged, I will say,
I
and
don't
I
think
think
they know
that
we're still work there. I got to be honest.
I know. Do we? I don't know. I think this is airing, but I think that for people who are self-starters and people who know their managers trust them, they can really thrive during this time, actually. And a lot of it comes down to communication. So you had some tips for us all when we are working from home on communication.
Definitely. So one of the things that I think is really important is making sure that we have outlined what are the communication channels and the softwares that we're going to be using. What I've seen happen with businesses that
Mm.
were not really prepared to make this transition to a remote working environment is that they didn't provide the team members with specific software. So what ends up happening is they end up in sensory overload using 5, 6 different types of communication for their instant message and video, and it becomes problematic for them. So identifying which systems you're going to be using are extremely key. And some of the systems that I thoroughly enjoy, Microsoft Teams is great.
Yeah.
It's instant messaging, video, everything. It's phenomenal. And making sure that you have a great project management software that allows for your team to communicate seamlessly.
Yeah, you don't want to have one video call with one person on Zoom, another one on Skype, another one on
That is an
GoToMeeting.
excellent point.
No one wants all those apps installed for sure. How
Yeah.
often should you be meeting with your staff to kind of maintain that good communication, keep people efficient, but without being a haunt and constantly having a 5 hour meeting every day?
Sure. Yeah. What I highly suggest is having a daily meeting, and having a very short 10, 15 minutes at the max, and following the Amazon guideline for meetings, right? Not having any meeting with so many attendees that 2 medium pizzas couldn't feed. But the purpose of that daily meeting is just to focus on a couple of things: what that team member is going to be focusing on for that day, what, if anything, that they're stuck on. And it's not, the point of the meeting isn't to solve any of those issues, but identify them so that the person that is best suited to help them can meet with them later, and also identify whether someone is currently overloaded, needs additional help, or they actually have additional bandwidth and can help other team members.
Sir, you
I
underestimate the
tell
amount
you.
of pizza I can eat. That's a lot.
Ah, classic. I love it. I'm a huge proponent of smaller meetings. I've gotten very clear about some things during the pandemic, Robert, and that's one of them. I've been like, we're getting nothing done if this is a giant meeting.
Yeah.
It's not for me. And shorter meetings too. My goodness, you are speaking my language. You mentioned something earlier about not micromanaging, and let's talk about rapport and kind of. It's kind of hard to know if someone's likes your work style because you're not seeing them face to face. So how can you keep good rapport during this time?
I think that the key thing that's important is remembering that we're human. You need to position yourself and pivot from a point of being human and empathetic in the first place, and recognizing that a lot has changed this year, and in some instances may not go back to what we remember as normalcy. And businesses that embrace that can really thrive. But recognizing that that team member may have kids that are at home e-learning, or a spouse that's also sharing that office space with them, and recognize that it can be stressful for them. And even some employees that live alone and haven't interacted with people in a long time, and talking to them, reaching out to them, seeing how they are, and making sure that they're doing well.
Yeah, no question. We have about 20 seconds left. What can a team leader do to make sure their employees are actually successful during all this?
Sure. One of the things that I see that a lot of businesses have missed is that a lot of people were not prepared to work from home, and they didn't have all the basic office needs, from a desk to a chair to multiple monitors, and actually helping those employees make sure that they have all of those basic office needs so that they can be as efficient and as comfortable as possible. From going from a stand-up desk and a nice sort of top of the line chair and 3 monitors to working at a laptop sitting on your couch is a completely different working environment, and making sure that they have those basic office needs is so key.
Give them the tools to succeed. Robert, great having you, my friend.
Robert, excellent points, and thank you. We'll look for your book, The Agency Blueprint, the business system that leads to success. Nice to talk to you today.
Thank you so much for having me.
If you want to learn more, you go to cfofinancialstrategies.com. Bestseller Publishing, a proud sponsor of The Morning Plan.